How's everybody doing? I'm going to start here in just a few minutes. I like to be punctual. We'll start at 1 o'clock. Give me just a few minutes. Just another minute or so. All right. Matthew McConaughey fans, behold. Okay. What the? How's everybody doing? Joseph Sunderman here. A Creative Tech, not the Creative Tech, just like the rest of you. Creative Techs watching the show, getting familiar with each other, building our tribe up, learning who's got what strengths. That way we can help each other achieve great heights. That's what we're doing here. It's beautiful. It's like an orchestra and I'm the conductor and everything's just going beautifully. And I like handing off conductor to other people and seeing how they play music with the team. I'm learning how to empower others to be great conductors, whatever symphony they're playing. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful music. I don't do twang, so when I hear a little bit of twang, I don't mesh with that musician. You know, I veer off from that. But most of us, we work in a way. You can tell when you click with somebody and build rapport, and when you work with somebody, and you're like, we're not going to get along at all. And most creative techs, because they're aware of others and how their actions affect others. Yeah, creative technologists know that in order to have a great experience for us, we need to ensure everything around us is going smooth. And we can only control what we can control. And it's crazy once you figure out what you can control and the power you get with that control and when you start to utilize it. And that's what we're going to talk about today in today's episode of Sessions. You know, this last week, going to some events the previous week, having a very rough session last Saturday. So much so that I realized I've been having bad sessions the past few weeks. If you look at my thumbnails, I'm getting into a flow, and it's just like climbing a cell phone tower. They only allow people to climb a cell phone tower so many times. At least this was a safety rule in one of the companies that I did some objectives with. They only allow their climbers to climb a tower only 3 times, and then they pull them off that tower to another tower and make somebody else go to that tower. Because what they do is they get too comfortable climbing that tower. And what happens when you get comfortable? What do? We slip up on the small things. And just like making my thumbnail process super smooth and fast, I realized I was doing the colors and getting the titles in there because that was my main focus. But the damn focus of each episode said the opportunity. It was 3 episodes. And then since it was last week, I realized I did it. I fixed the thumbnail only on one platform. So there is 3 episodes on a bunch of platforms. But all I'm getting at here is I got into a flow where I started screwing up without even realizing it. And I'm losing control of quality of the system I'm building. I'm adding too many things and losing some. Slow down, Joe. And a lot of this is because I don't have enough time. I'm trying to squeeze so much in this little. I have an hour of doing the episode, which is already painful to do that consistently week after week. 6 months. There was one time I missed the show but did it the same day. There was one time where I went on vacation. I missed 2 weeks straight, which I'm okay with both of those things happening. This is the 26th episode, and only like 4 of the episodes have I screwed up when it comes to being punctual and being consistent. If you notice, I've turned off the music this time because it's so annoying listening to that music while I'm talking, especially if I don't turn it down enough. That happens. These little deltas I'm doing and talking about ownership, I'm taking ownership of, I'm not blaming. Oh, I get an hour, so that's why it's that way. It's okay, I'll leave it that way. No, I'm owning it. And I'm wanting to realize what I have control over. And we're going to get into the 3 topics here, but ownership, owning what you control and what you don't control. True ownership. When I say ownership, it's not of intellectual property, which that is part of today's conversation. You could be, working with somebody, building something big and realizing the whole time you've been building it, they've had their own agenda. and it's been pretty clear. A lot of things that I've uncovered over the last week and over the last decade, like just learning all I've learned and how I have not been responsible. I have not been controlling the things I can't control, and I've been focused on things I can't control. And I'm going to bring those lessons to you so you don't run into the same shit I ran into. I don't want to see somebody else, like, because I'm somebody that trusts people. I'm somebody that wants to work with people. I'm going to collaborate with them. I'm going to be transparent with them. But when you're not getting that back, and when I'm not getting it back, I realize I'm at fault for a lot of the ways I am. And once I correct the way I am, truly own what you're doing and correct the way you're approaching people and the way you're approaching issues. Joe's pissed off again, rolling your eyes because he's always pissed off. Well, when he's pissed off, it doesn't make much impact. So obviously that doesn't work, Joe. Why do you just keep getting pissed off at the same shit? You end up doing the work anyway. So what you have to do in order truly to have what we're going to talk about, the number one reason why we're talking about ownership today is autonomy. So we have 3 topics under our focus. Our focus is ownership. And why is ownership so important to the creative tech? Why do we need ownership? Why do we need to understand what we mean by ownership under the framework of the creative tech? Autonomy. As a creative tech, it's not a work-life balance. It's a work-life fabric. How can you be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, whatever you want to call yourself? They're all just labels, but to truly do what you want to do day in and day out. My wife works for Duke Energy and has been there for 17 years, and she has autonomy. We all have autonomy, but we all have to take into effect the things out of our control. Like, we can't control that we live in a state with government. We can control that to some degree. We can move to a different government, but there's going to be rules everywhere. Unless you're really going to be some nomad and move out to the middle of nowhere, you're going to deal with rules. You're going to have to deal with society. And we all need to get along, collaborate to some degree. I mean, look at our nation right now in this election year. They're always this bad. The candidates are always this. They're all liars. They're all politicians. They're all saving face, and they're trying to get their things to go through. And they use us, the people, our emotions, and how we are pulled. And really what we need to do, and we're going to get into all this today, but to have autonomy. I'm somebody that doesn't really want Trump to win, but I'm also not somebody that wants to, overdo taxes and all the financially conservative, ethically fairly liberal. But I ride in the middle. I get along with both conservatives and liberals. And what I'm trying to say is most Americans are in the middle. And I know who I am. I know what I value, and I know who I'm willing to work with and who I'm not willing to work with. We all have to know that to some degree. But looking at the state of the world, what can we control? Why is this so important? It's about autonomy, so that way you can live the life you want to live in this nation, which I love America. I'm a very proud American. I know the rules of the game for the most part. I'm trying to navigate this life in a way that allows me to be free of stress from being caught doing something wrong. Like, I don't want that. So I do my best to do everything at the best level possible. But when we have a brand, our personal brand, and we mend that in with others, whether you're working at Duke Energy, whether you're working for a big company, whatever, a small company, whether you work for yourself, to get business, you have to be able to collaborate with others or provide something to them. Do you not like talking to people? Would a beautiful life for you be working at home and not having to interact with people, but just do it from a screen? To me, if that's really what you want and you work your way to a point where you can do that, that's autonomy to me. And why is ownership so important? Because why is autonomy so important to ownership? How does it get us there? Well, it's all about understanding your and being real with your capabilities, being authentic with where you are today, whether you're talking to a potential client, a long-term client, whatever it is. I've found, that being real with people will get you where you need to be. I've had people say, oh, you can't tell them that your server's in your basements because nobody will want to work with you. When I sit across from somebody and explain to them the reason why we're doing what we're doing, and we're doing this to save money, and we're doing this to keep their operation going, and if something does happen, we can get them up in Azure or something, that's when we start spending the big bucks. But for right now, if we can operate it in a very certain way, that's how we should do it. And that's what we do. If somebody came into my house and stole this whole stack and took it out of here, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it. They don't have the necessary biometrics to get everything they need out of there. So everything's backed up in our secure data vault. If something happens to my home and it burns up in a fire or blaze or whatever, we push a few buttons, boop, everything's fired up in Azure, and we continue business. So tell me, is it really that big of a problem if your shit is sitting in a basement? And that was where we were then. Now we're coming to the end of the life cycle of this data center. We don't want a data center moving forward. We're going to move to our partners at 3Z. I'm super excited about that. In fact, I'm already in talks with Eric and them, have been for years, and they know that once this data center is dead, I have a place to take all my servers, and I know they'll work with me and help me get a good kickoff because they're good people, and I trust them, and I trust that they're looking out for my best interests. In fact, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had my own business. I wouldn't have been told, Joe, you need to look out for you. And what ownership means is that you need to own you and what you're doing. I should have taken their advice and had an NDA signed or something, and that's on me. But again, I don't care if anybody knows what the MTP is. I want everybody to know what the MTP is. I'm not going to give away all my secrets, all the nitty gritty, dirty stuff. There's a lot of stuff in development right now that I've shared with a lot of people, but yeah, they can try to reinvent the wheel if they want, or they can take what I did and try to spin it off and do their own thing with it. But without me there, because I know nobody knows the big picture. I know nobody sees the transformation plan that I see and taking people from their current state to their desired state. I know that in order for, I'm only the 150 pages of, the guidelines I've created so far. All that's just where I am right now. That's just documented with where I am right now with it. That doesn't have all the things that are kicking around and all the connecting points. That's just the shit I needed to get out now to help get the team to do the things I need them to do. So that way the things that are coming 5 years down the road start to take shape. I did learn this week that I got to come up with a new MSP name, which is cool. Also learned that I have to figure out what to do. I got a couple of MSPs I'm talking to right now that are kicking around the idea of working with the MTP, which I'm super excited about. The current MSP that we're working with, I think there's some adoption issues there. But yeah, what can you do? You can only control what you can control. Anyway, I'm going off into tangents now. We are 15 minutes into this conversation, and I have an agenda to do here. And part of that agenda is to give you guys an update on what I'm doing as a creative tech. And did I prepare some kind of cool visual for you guys? Hell no. Let me be prepared. Come on, guys. I'm working on it. I do need somebody to help out. So if anybody knows anybody that's wanting to be a part of the tribe and help make this better, would love to collaborate with somebody that understands what it is I'm trying to do, sees the value in it, and wants to be here for the long run. Those are the people I want to work with. Now, I've been doing this for 6 months. Anybody that's been here has probably come and gone. I've never pushed for subscribers through here. I don't push for people to join the tribe, which I should be doing these things. I just know I don't have time to give it the full attention, but I need to start. God, I need to start. So one thing I've done recently is I've cut back on the work that I do for others that are not paying me for that work. I've stepped away from people that, if sessions isn't taking a hold, if we're not getting traction going, it's not because of my lack of being there and ready to go. It's the client that's not ready to go. So when I step away, they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, you really dropped the ball. Why aren't we doing this? I'm like, well, I apologize that you feel that way, but here, let me tell you how I've documented and how I've captured it based off how I approach things now. I've tried numerous times to schedule this with you. You've pushed back meetings 20 times. And I was honestly feeling like maybe I was bothering you to the point where I was like, when they are ready, they'll come to me. I'll remind them during reviews and things of that nature, but I'm not going to push for it to happen. I'm not going to, Anyway, some of us get tired of trying to drag people into empowering themselves. In fact, that's the wrong way to go about it. If you really want to be empowered, I'm not going to. You told me you wanted to do this awesome thing and get to this desired state. And you're coming to me saying, hey, can we get there? Why aren't we there yet? Why aren't we there yet? Did I not do everything I said I would do and did my part to get us there? And I don't care who you are. Come talk to me. I've done my part. If we have business and you have a file inside of my account folder, or my account management folder, I've gotten so good now that I've reviewed that thing. I go through it on a regular basis that if you're in that folder and you're coming to me saying, hey, where are we at with this? I'm going to be like, we're waiting on you, my friends. That's a good position to be in. Now, obviously, some of the things I do, these people, whether I tell them to do it or not, like it needs done. So I will do the things that need to get done. It's the things that they want to get done that doesn't really affect anything. That's what I'll play that game on. It's not really playing a game. It is playing a game. Just got done opening this whole thing up saying that life is a game. Play the rules, learn the rules, and play the game well. Just because the rules allow you to do something that maybe isn't ethically or proper doesn't mean you're being objective or not being sinister about it. I just want to make sure that's clear to everybody that just because you can be a shitty person doesn't mean you should be. Just because you have the authority to keep somebody's idea doesn't mean in fact, especially if you're building that idea with somebody and you haven't even told them that, hey, I went and registered a business name that you came up with and stressed over and fought for years and then finally got it when it was available. It's not my fault that I own that and, you trusted me enough to put on my platform before you had your own. That's a you problem. And when you realize that's what you're working with, I thought the wake up call was, hey, if you want half of the business, walk on out of here. But nope. I thought maybe I just pissed him off and he would see that, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to help you. Doubled his revenue again, doubled it again. And still this kind of bullshit. And and after building him up again, getting him up to 25,000, oh my God. And for him just be like, well, if you don't like it, there's the door. Like he built all that recurring revenue for himself. No, oh my God, I'm having a meltdown on my show. I've just had a little bit of a stressful week. My baby was taken from me, but it's okay. It's a name, it's a label. In fact, when I started framing things differently, like, hey, Cincinnati's a great city to live in. Let's just put it that way. We're going to move on from this topic because I'm supposed to be telling you about what I've been up to lately, and all I'm doing is fucking pulling a Donald Trump and fucking stressing and spewing out, change the subject. So, what have I been up to lately? Well, Northwest School District, Lindsay Creasy, thank you so much for the opportunity to invite me to the business program breakfast and to allow me to network and meet with some great people. And now I'm working with Mr. Lee Johnson at Northwest Local High School, and he is the athletic director. Now, I told Lindsay that I have the production company. I know kids will think that's kind of cool, but really what I want to do is empower them and let them know that, see all this I'm doing right now? I dropped out of high school and I get to do all this, but I'm doing it at 45. If I was able to do it over again, I would be doing all this at 20 because I would have stayed in school and I would have learned to collaborate and be a positive person in a radical leader, and I would have put people first, and I would have learned to get here by the age, if not 15. Hell, if I could have learned this when I was 10, I'd be there at 15. Don't do what I did and go through the long road. But again, at the same time, these freaking kids got to go through something to. They say going through shit builds character. I agree with that so much that I almost want to take my kids and put them through a trial of just despair. And it's not something that I want to do, but I don't want to see them go through it. But at the same time, it's like, unless you know that pain, unless you know what it's like to live that way and feel that way, but nobody wants their kids to feel that way. And I'm not trying to say I want my kids to be miserable. That's the last thing I'm trying to say. If you got to go through surgery to get rid of that big pain and to have a good quality of life, yeah, you're going to go through that surgery. And I'm saying sometimes we have to do a procedure, put somebody through something, or give somebody a perspective. And the only way to give them that perspective is to put them through it. And putting our kids through sports is a form of doing that. But what happens if your kids can't go to sports because, you're not the custodial parent? And anyway, what have I been up to this week? And here you're talking about your problems again, Joe. What is wrong with me? I'm having a bad week, apparently. All right, let's get into autonomy. Why is autonomy so important? Because I'm not going to tell you about the North local school district and me helping out the school director there with the MTP, which is a beautiful thing. Because I told him about our identity, tech stack, and workforce, and how we align everything. And we get you from your current state to your desired state. And when we come in, we try to get your current state to a certain point. Right? We fill some gaps right away to get you to a good starting point, and then we have you set up for your strategy. And that's getting the admin pipeline. Some other things. Anyway, we're getting good at it. That's what matters. We're figuring it out, and people are trying to replicate us now that we've learned. People are trying to compete with us on our own team, and yeah, it's exciting to see that. I'm excited to see it. A little competition doesn't hurt anything. Let's go ahead and let's go to war. I don't know. Northwest or the Midwest Con was awesome. Let me see if I can't. I don't think there's audio, but I do want to show this because I think it's super dope, and I'm excited that I got to be a part of something. And then not only did I get to be a part of something, but the experience I've learned from doing that thing, it's really crazy. Say hi to Winston, everybody. Winston. All right. Where's my damn photos app? And yeah, that's what I want to see. Come here, you. So I was here at this event, and I had my little setup here. You can see I got my light, got my people would walk up here and stand where I'm standing. They'd get their shot. And I think I showed this last week, maybe to some degree. And then I showed you guys that yeah, this one. Maybe I showed this last week. But basically, we got the mayor of Cincinnati sitting here, who's an alumni of UC, I believe. And I got him in my little booth here. That's not what I want to show you. Hold on. It's part of it. It's pretty cool. And I don't know who edited it. I'm not a huge fan of all the digitalness going on in the background. I guess it's cool. It is. It's cool. I get it. Is it the way that, does it have the vibe? We like to be regal and prestigious. So we want to be, and it was good. It was good. They're going for the youth, I believe. And it's, again, this is just my opinion. And where the hell is my mouse out? There we go. Let's go ahead and we're looking for Midwest Con Mayor. Check this shit out. That looks so good. And I don't think you guys can hear it, but yeah, a lot of noise going on in the background. A lot to me, it takes anyway. Stuff like this is what I'm talking about. Getting to the point where we're starting to see traction. We're starting to see projects come through. We're starting to build our portfolio. This is now part of my portfolio. And the thing that I was working on today, which was kind of cool.
Hey everyone, Mayor Aftab Curable, have the honor to be the mayor of the great city of Cincinnati, and we are here at...
All right, where is... So today, I was at Northwest Local School, and this is what we were doing. We had the band there. We had all these. There was a lot of people there. It's not a very good picture of what was going on today. Anyway, bottom line is, I was at this. Where did my freaking stream go? Here we go. Boom. Get rid of this. Get rid of it. By what? Anyway, I'll have some more video to show you with this cinematographer Derek. What I've learned is that his girlfriend works at ProCam and was introduced to this Vicky Brown, who's throwing this Here to Heal musical that she's putting together. And she's hoping to get schools to make this a play for their, like a drama class. A drama instructor will take this program and use it to do a play with their school. And what it's supposed to do is talk to the kids. I guess there was a school recently here in the local area that had 2 suicides in the same, like within a week or two from each other at the same school. Could you imagine? I mean, I remember one day in my freshman year or my sophomore year, I can't remember which one it was. But there was a kid that died in a car crash. And in my small town, it was just rare for for anything to happen. And the devastation that it had, that everybody that knew who this kid was, the devastation it had on that small community for somebody that was in a car accident, which is, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dismiss, it's all tragic. But to know that there's a school that this wasn't some accident. Some kid purposefully, 2 children took their lives. It's so messed up. And this woman, Vicky Brown, I guess her husband, boyfriend, or whatever, is like one of the Big 9 machine from the Reds. If you know who they are, if not, just some really cool people, and knowing that some of these people that I'm meeting, like the legacy some of these people have, and their why, their mission. Yeah, I told Vicky Brown, I saw the email come through because I'm part of Northwest Local School District Business Partnership. I get these letters or newsletters that here's opportunities, things going on in the school district, and we're looking for help for this or that. And I saw an email that said something about this. They're doing a movie shoot, and she's shooting a whole movie and needs help, extras, this and that. And I found her personal contact information online through her, online channels, and reached out to her directly, said, hey, listen, my name is Joseph Sunderman. I own 3 companies, and I'm starting to work with Northwest Local School District. I would love to just come by and take some BTS footage for you guys and just hang out and see what's going on. Just by sheerly doing that little exercise and reaching out like that, I was told, yes, please come on by. So this morning I got up way too early. Not because of this. I actually had my alarm clock set for 7 to be at this place by 8:30. I was up at 5 this morning, and that's just because I fell asleep by 11 last night. And I naturally get up at the ask. It's so stupid. Why am I? Well, but I go to Northwest Elementary School, which is where this was at. Show up and Derek, the cinematographer, comes in. I just meeting some really cool people. They're all Sony shooters. He has an FX3, which is a full frame cinema camera. It's like the It's the cheapest thing you're going to get by on a Netflix documentary. Like, it has the requirements for a cinema camera. They're not cheap. Don't get me wrong. It's still a very nice camera, but it's not, a $50,000 Red or anything. This is I mean, it looks just like this guy. Like, it's just a little camera like this. Got that A1 sensor flopping around there. Cover that up. There we go. I love you, baby. Anyway, shooting with an FX3. All the shots are stationary, which is, you're shooting a movie. Yeah, like what movie was it that they were all stationary? Was it Mad Max or something like that? Where, you rarely have moving shots or documentary style footage with the camera shake, someone hand holding it. Anyway, they're having a pep rally, this and that. So I was there taking pictures and doing stuff, just networking. And this guy was like, "Oh, like, I like your setup. I see that you got some nice gear." Like, just playing it cool, being authentic, and being as helpful as I can, and capturing what I could while I was there. I made a good impression, and I authentically and genuinely feel like he is excited to connect with me and talk about potential collaboration on things down the road. I'm building my tribe. I hope you're watching and you're getting excited, like, man, I want to get into some of this, because it's not the end of the, it's not so hard to be here. Back to the show. Responsibility. That's the second topic, and control's the third topic. We'll get into that in a minute, but there is a whole thing to this format of this show sessions. There's actually a structure here. I'm not very good at following it. I'm practicing it, but here's what sessions is. We pick a focus. That focus this week being ownership. Then we have 3 topics towards ownership, towards that focus. Topic number 1, autonomy. Why did we pick autonomy? Well, because when we have a focus, which is ownership, we ask ourselves, why is ownership so important to the creative tech and where we are in our current season? And not just me. I look at the creative tech, the idea, the brand of creative tech. I'm Joseph Sunderman. My personal brand is, I have multiple companies I'm trying to start and get things off the ground. One of those brands is the creative tech. The creative tech, its state of where it is currently, its current season is just, we got 33. We found a few tribe members. One of them signed up and had a session. In fact, I've had a couple sessions this week, which is cool. I've been getting more and more scheduled sessions. I'm documenting them. And that's what you got to do. You just got to schedule your session. And back to the flow of the show. Why is ownership so important to the creative tech? Who the creative tech is. And for me, talking with AI, of course, autonomy, like, to truly own your own business, to own your own processes, your own standards, your own boundaries, and who you'll say no to and who you say yes with. When you mess something up, do you own it? And why I want to talk about responsibility and why it's, so one is why is it so important to the creative tech? And that's the first topic. We came up with autonomy. That's why it's so important. You want autonomy? You have to take ownership of things. You have to take ownership of who you are. Be real with who you are and where you are, and realize you can't do the things that you want to do alone, and that the people that you're helping, they matter. That's radical leadership, by the way. Yeah, we can get in more into it about how you be authentic and how you lead with authenticity, and what the let them method is and things of that nature. Manager time versus maker time. There's such a whirlwind of all this stuff that I've been working on for workforce development, personal development. When you start to dive into it and live it, you start to become a professional in it. And guess what everybody wants to do? They want to do better. They want to make more money. They want to be happier in their life. They want to do things. And when you're somebody that has not had the easiest of life, still today, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm rich and I got it made. People see my home and they see the shit I'm doing in the business and they think, that rich some bitch. Like, no. That hardworking, busting his ass, has all this equipment that he has to bust his ass for in order to maintain and keep up to date and keep looking nice and with all the usage it gets. Do you know how beat up this shit gets? And I have to keep it up. Takes a lot of responsibility. I've taken ownership of me and myself. And by doing so, I've one of the things I wanted to own 50% of a company. And I was told I owned 50% of the company, but when it came time to collect or time to say, hey, I need XYZ, I own half the company, make it happen. And you're told, well, no, you can leave with a shirt on your back, or that's how it works. I knew I owned half that company. I knew if I left, it would either rot, whatever it may be. And yeah, so I took ownership. And people that don't take ownership, here's what happens to people that don't take ownership. If I would have took that and just went, I guess I don't own anything, I'll just keep doing what I do now. I could have owned that way. I could have started playing victim. That's where this is all going. I think if you're not responsible, if you're not able to take ownership of things, like how do we apply ownership? How do we use ownership as a creative tech? Because that's the second topic. It's why is this focus so important to creative tech? And for ownership, it's autonomy. How do we use this focus to apply it to be a creative tech, whatever? And that's be responsible. Take responsibility. If you did it, take responsibility for it. If you didn't do it, don't take responsibility for it. It's not about being responsible for everything. It's about being responsible for the things you can control. If you can't control it, and we're already dipping into topic number 3 here. Here we go. What do you need to take away from today? What do you need to know as a creative tech? That's the third topic. Always will be. In fact, last few episodes, that's how this is supposed to be working. That's the formula I came up with. Shout out to my boy, Simon Sinek. What's up? He's not dead. I don't know. I just like he's up in heaven. Anyway. God, I'm talking today. Hope everybody's doing great. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm in 21 minutes and some odd seconds, 45 seconds, I will be packing up my shit and heading straight to the field to watch my little stepdaughter. She's going to be playing cheerleader today. Kids are they're such assholes, but they're so cute. Anyway, as a professional, as somebody that is told I'm doing well for myself, like I'm trying. And one of the big things that I had to do in 2020, in 2019, I started my own company because people around me that cared about me saw me in the position I was in and saw my value and said, you need to take ownership. You need to do your own thing. I'm glad I listened to him. I didn't fully listen to him, and now that I realize what I've been doing, like, man, where would I be today if I would have truly went a different direction as opposed to just taking my piece of the pie and thinking that would get my partners and my stakeholders to align with what I'm happy to collaborate the way you want it done, but you got to tell me what that means, sir. I think I'm going through a lot. And I think if you are wanting to get into business, if you're wanting to be a creative tech, if you're wanting to own your own studio, like my studio downtown, it's not my studio. It is my studio. It's not my studio, but it is my studio. But it's not my studio. It is my studio in the sense that I pay $1,000 a month for renting that studio. And when a place like Subway rents a commercial space to run their subway. Is that their subway? It's kind of like in that sense. Yes, it is my studio. And my studio downtown is beautiful. It's elegant. It's a studio that most professionals that were in my place right now would be like, I would have a website up, I would be scheduling, I would be booking like crazy, I'd be blah, 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 blah. But I know what I'm trying to do. I know my desired state is to own a company that's doing so much reoccurring revenue based off the systems and the principles and the processes I built, knowing that they are being refined as we evolve as humanity, and knowing that the systems are going to continue. So that way, when I'm at the age of, let's say, dead, and I finally decide to walk away. No, I want to get the machine running well enough to where I can walk away from my Cora, but I don't want to give up the reins per se. I want someone to run it for me and know that I can trust that person, because they too are living a life of intent and they want to be somewhere, and someday they want to be able to travel and know that somebody else is going to be running things in a way. Like, if I could hand this down to one of the 6 kids, if they really get interested in this and they want to take over the company and do identity management for small businesses in the area. And I love working with small businesses. I would love to work with some businesses that are a little bit bigger, just to because I love working with people and to get to meet new people and do all this stuff. But I don't want to get to a point where I'm working have a client that we're treating everybody like numbers because there's just too many of them. When I get to that point, right now, my customer base, I have enough client. I know I have room for more clients. I do hourly sessions. I don't need to talk to everybody every day. I know some people need my help in a condensed sense, but all I do know is that I have 20 minutes left, 17 minutes left. And once this is over, I got a bolt. So let's stay focused. Let's be ready to go. Where were we? We were talking about there's a flow to the show. I was talking about the different topics and how they interject to the focus. Like, how do you say all this? Maybe I need to find a little pitch at the beginning of the show to say all that so that way people get it and walk them through, like, why is this important to the creative tech? Because of autonomy. And how do we apply that? Well, we have to be responsible. What do you need to do when you walk away from here? Control. Learn what you do control and what you can't control, and focus on the things you can control. The things you can't control, we call those matters. The things you can't control, we call those objectives. And in your personal life, we break it down to very simple. Is that an objective or is that a matter? Can you control that? Is that, oh man, I'm so angry right now. These people are doing this and this and this and this. You objectively could get yourself to a better place. You could realize that you can't control whatever it is you're mad about. It takes practice to understand what I'm talking about. It takes putting it to some of your life experiences to break down what matters and objectives are. In fact, I am learning every day. I had this breakthrough, I think Wednesday or Thursday. It was Thursday. I was talking to one of my clients because they're getting ready to do a big jump in their services. They're taking the VCMO role that we've been developing for the last 2 years. I realized, as I was telling, matters are the things that mess up your plans. We can control our plans, but we can't control the things that are messing us up. Those are matters. The things we can't control, the plans, those are objectives. Those are projects. I started thinking to myself, you can only control what you can, and you can't control what you get. Like it's like zero. It's like binary, 0 and 1. If we just qualify and we're self-aware of how we're affecting things, and really take control of what we can control, which is our behavior, the words that come out of our mouth, and the way we approach things, these are all within our control. We can't control if the client will say yes or no. But if they say no, we can't control how we respond. We can control how we act. So do we have ourselves in a position to where if this client says no, are we detrimentally, is it going to be the end of the world for us? Does this mean, like how much does it really matter? my I have to talk about this guy again. I know I've talked about him a couple times on the show, but everybody seems to know him in the tech community. But John Salisbury. I'm not bringing up the first question he asked me again because I mean it still blows me away. But while we were in our first time meeting, he asked me, "What do you do if 1,000 balls are thrown at you?" Because we were talking about what it's like to be an entrepreneur and how good it feels when you know that you're able to add value to the point to where you're not concerned anymore and things of that nature. And he looked at me, he was like, "How do you catch 1,000 balls are thrown at you? What do you do?" I think that's how he framed it. I was like, I would probably go like this. I would duck. But the point of it is every day we have thousands of things thrown at us. There's thousands of things that matters that we should be dealing with, but we can't deal with every matter. We can't save everybody. We can't fix every single problem. You look around your house right now, look around the room you're in, you probably see things that need to be done. Maybe dusting, maybe sweeping the floor, maybe straightening up that mail and getting it put away, or, taking the trash out, doing the dish, whatever it is. Everything is never completely done, and we have to choose the things we do that really give us, like, if you know your current state, you're not happy with it and you want to get to a desired state. If you're spinning wheels on doing stupid shit and stressing about problems, and that's another thing, don't think about problems. You can control that. If you find yourself sitting there just stewing over things you can't control, and you're going to complain about you don't have time to do X, Y, Z, do some simple math. For me, I wish I would have had a mentor, somebody that would have gave it straight to me the way I give it to people. But I didn't. And it got me to the point now where I actually appreciate everyone so much more. I appreciate my abilities and my body, even though I'm still drinking Red Bull. I need to be more responsible and control what I can. I need to take ownership of my body and only put water in it with a shit ton of sugar and taurine and other vitamins and minerals. And did I mention caffeine and things of that nature? But it's so good. It is so good. 2 to 3 Red Bulls a day definitely keeps the doctor at bay. But no, I feel like I'm doing good. I'm getting plenty of exercise, nutrition wise, all that stuff. I'm in control of what I can control right now, and I'm controlling enough to where I have autonomy with my day. Do I have complete autonomy? No. I have a client right now that's like, I gotta have this done by Monday, and I'm like, shit, it's the weekend. That means I gotta drive to Kentucky and I gotta do X, Y, Z. Cool, sure, yep, nope, yep, beep, beep, up, beep, boop, up. We got it. Because just like my wife going to work, and I say she has autonomy, she gets to work. Before she was working 5 days a week, she wasn't too happy. Like, she was even getting pissed because I have so much autonomy with my work. Not full autonomy. Nobody has full autonomy. You live in the U.S. and other countries are even worse. If you live in those countries, like, your self-determination starts to go away. And I am an ambassador of self-determination. Just ask Ben Nwenko and his brother Evans Nwenko, like, 2 amazing brothers. Can't wait to work with them. I need to give him a call and see why he hasn't scheduled his session yet. Want to get the budget set up with those guys right away. If you are in the Cincinnati or tri-state area and you have a tech stack and you need help, I'm your guy. I'm going to get that tech stack purring like a kitten, and cost effective, efficient. You'll own it. Huge benefit to being on the MTP because it's your tech plan. Quit giving it to other people. Oh my goodness. I am tapped out today. I hope this show was somewhat helpful. I know we got 10 minutes. Obviously, I'm shutting down. I'm taking it easy. The last 10 minutes of this show, we're going to talk about the tribe. Sure. Sorry, I don't mean to sound like unenthusiastic here. I've been doing this for 6 months, talking at this level on the shows, going back and watching something going, Jesus, was I even Was I on autopilot then? I feel like I was just babbling and there was no structure. Was I even present? But I do see a confidence in me when I'm, because I do feel like I'm in public, even with nobody watching me. I know somebody can watch this, and it's making me more confident about talking to others and presenting my ideas. That I am grateful for. All the things that I've been doing over the last 5 to 10 years, trying to be a good husband, a good father, a good business partner, helping everybody and empowering everybody around me, being creative and putting some good back into the world. These are the things that make me thrive and make me happy. You know, um, I do, there's a photographer here in Cincinnati that my wife, she did a shoot with this gentleman and he owns Cincinnati or Boudoir of Cincinnati or something like that. Boudoir of Cincinnati, I think is what it's called. And the images my wife got me when she proposed to me, I mean, very tasteful. Don't be a pervert. I mean, definitely very tasteful and very classy. And just, and my wife is, she's just gorgeous. And that she knows that would have got me too, because she knows how much I love females. Yeah, I love taking images. I love empowering women. I think all women are beautiful, and there's some credible artists here in Cincinnati. That's my personal favorite thing to do. Is that's a passion thing of mine. Is photography. Making cool content for my businesses. I know that's something that I need to do in order to be a successful business, especially with the kind of business I'm trying to create, and sessions, the workshops we're doing. I don't need to say these things over and over and over and over again. So if I get good at presenting my ideas and working through a session and keeping on point with the focus and the three topics, this format I'm developing and creating, because even when I get into a tangent like this, I'm just blah, 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 blah. I remember, I'm on a show. I'm this far into it. These are the three topics. And this is what I'm talking about. Let's bring it back home. And it takes practice, but I'm getting it. I'm getting there. I have people tell me, why are you doing an hour? Well, because when I meet with somebody, I'll do an intake with them. I'll have them fill out the alignment form. I'll do an assessment on their business, whatever it may be. But when it comes for me to lay out and do, like, when I am doing discovery, I'm sitting back and giving the stage to the team or whoever it is I'm here to empower and help. I am going to give them the stage, and I am an audience, and I am not a heckler. I'm here to listen. And here's the show I need you to give to me, and here's what I want you to lay out for me. I may ask questions. But it's very much so where I am an audience member and they are on stage. But when it comes time for me to take over and to provide a workshop and to train, please save your questions for the end. Or I may ask questions during the program, but please try to save your comments and questions for the end. And just going through it, taking classes on giving classes to give classes on taking classes. I got McDonald's for the kids for lunch today. Big mistake. I hate McDonald's. God, I hate McDonald's. I thought getting a Big Mac would be a good idea. Oh, I haven't had one of those since, years. It's been years. I don't eat at McDonald's. Give me Chipotle. This Panda Express place, I just found out about this place a couple weeks ago. And my wife and I have already been there twice. Rice and chicken all day long for me. Thank you very much. Oh, and that damn that Beijing steak. Oh my God. Now I know what I want for dinner. Shit, what are we making for dinner tonight? I wonder if I can convince the wife. Can we do? I don't know. Kids will probably be like, ew. Damn them kids. Yeah. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I know I've said that like 5 times. I would love to hear from you if you ever have any questions or want to jump on the show. In fact, I said I'm going to talk about the show, then I don't talk about the show. Jesus. I'm a hot mess. Let's just be real with it. So we have 33 members right now. Trey Harris, thank you for joining, my friend. Our latest member. He's also had a session. He is a cinematographer. I want to have him on the show at some point. Greg Goshorn, excited to ask you to be the first guest. Well, actually, timeout. I know I said I'd ask him to be the first guest because like he was one of the first people I had a session with. Although he forced me to do it through his platform, which is fair. It's fine. Like he's very much on his grind, and I, I'm trying to choose my battles, and I don't want to look like an asshole in front. So I was happy to do one on his platform. So he had a session with me, in fact, or I had a session with him, and now I asked for the next one for him to schedule one with me. I don't know if I've sent him the link or anything yet. I'm sure he would schedule it once I sent it to him. Greg's a great guy. Greg, super nice, and he wants to be he wants to be on the team, and like to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And I know Greg gets that. Greg shows up and he's there to help, and it's just great guy. But I thought it'd be funny to have Joe Sunderman as the first guest. Joe, again, I'm looking up like, Joe, if you're listening, is he dead? Joe, I know you lived a horrible life because you have my name, so I know you're down there. No, Joe Sunderman's very much alive. He, I believe he has an MBA in finance, or I don't know what he worked at Fifth Third Bank when I worked there. That's how I met him. It was over a decade ago, 16, almost 2 decades ago. Joe Sunderman gets hired at Fifth Third Bank, and he's a manager in some area of finance that makes more, it's more valuable than my position, because they call me up and say, hey, we need you to change your name from Joseph.Sunderman to Joseph.N.Sunderman. Is that okay with you? And I was like, no, have the other guy change his email. And I remember him and I emailed back and forth laughing about it a couple times. I don't know if I knowing me, I reached out to him just making a joke, because I'm like, I'm just a peon, but he works at the same place. Like, I didn't do anything that was, that would get me in trouble with HR or anything. It was just a fun email saying, hey man, sorry, I like my email. I think I asked him what his middle initial was. I can't remember what it was or what they did. Bottom line is he scheduled a session with me. We joined each other on LinkedIn way back in the day, and it was just, just thought it would be fun to reach out to him on LinkedIn. Well, I saw him post something saying, in between jobs or something like that, looking for an opportunity or something like that. And I commented on it and said, hey, have you ever thought about entrepreneurship? And he DM'd me saying, no, but I'm interested to talk. Like, we had a session, and the guy's obviously he's very smart, and I know he'd do great on his own, but we all have the capability of doing it on our own. It's just like, I don't know what your work ethic is. I don't know how much you rely on yourself, but when I see somebody that's disciplined and that had the same job for like my wife, I have the same job for 17 years, being that consistent, I would say you're quite capable of doing more than you could ever imagine. Absolutely. We all have the ability to get rid of the negativity, shed the toxicity and the negativity from our lives. We all have the capability to approach things with kindness and with patience, and just allow someone to give perspective. Now, I'm not going to lie, I will still flip somebody off or go off on somebody. I will get road rage from time to time. I mean, if you're straight up being an asshole and you're cutting people off, I'm not going to go out of my way, but I may lose my composure to some degree. But we're all human. It's a natural feeling. And what you want to do is, if you find yourself getting there quite often, that's a problem. Everybody telling me we all have anger. I do have an anger issue. There's something I'm very angry about, and it's being dismissed and has been being dismissed, and it's a big problem. So those people, using my anger with that thing to, it's just people, they all have their own agenda. You have to take ownership of you and yourself. And when they look at the playback tape and the way you conduct yourself, if you're happy with the way you conduct yourself, if you look back and you think, damn, look at that. Any other fucking human being would have lost their shit and act like a fucking psycho. But I kept my composure. And through it all, at the end of it, when you play it back and you look at that tape, they looked like assholes. They're the ones that were completely out of line. And I sat there with my stoic face, allowing them, use the let them method. Trust me, it's the karma, the fact that you will find them calling you up on a weekend, cussing you out because they can't do the thing they promised to their client because you're not doing what you've always done for them. And you've told them, if you don't stop taking advantage of me, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. And they still call you up and they still give you the lies and say, I want to do this. Yes, sure. Just whatever. Just get it done. It should have already been done. Don't play victim. That's something we did not cover much in this one. Don't play victim. All right. I got to go see my little one play some football, cheerleader thing, footy ball thingy. Everybody, keep it heavy. Keep it real. See you next week. Peace.